So let me tell you my latest experience being out here being homeless and why I believe I'm on this journey. So those of you guys don't know, I don't know if you can see that. See that it's dislocated. Before Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas Eve, coming back from Hope Outreach because I do ministry. I was coming back with some ladies back to Miller Park. I got hit by SUV going 15 miles an hour at Fifth and Broadway. So I was taken to Sutter, and I went to Sutter. They took X-rays, and they said I had dislocated shoulder and it was fractured. So I didn't want to stay because there was a whole bunch of people in the waiting room that actually were miserable and smoked the diarrhea, and there was a COVID or flu outbreak. I didn't want to leave honestly with runs. So for 3 days I didn't. I came in and same situation. They took new X-rays, took new labs, and same diagnosis, but they wanted me to wait around for 7 hours. And so I said that's not going to work for me. So I came back to the First Steps program out here on Roseville Road, and the coldness out here because there's no heat in these units, and there's heater, but there's no electric to it. Went straight to my bone. It caused me a lot of pain, and I was in trauma, and it was triggering my PTSD. So I actually called for Alpha One. So Alpha One is their ambulance service. So Alpha One took me to Sutter downtown, and I went in, and within 10 minutes of being there, they gave me this sling. Well, first of all, why couldn't they do that the last 3 times? But that's okay. So they gave me a sling. They took X-rays, I believe, and they didn't take labs that night. I wanted them to take labs because I was very sick and I wanted to know what was in my blood. And they didn't take labs. I kept asking that. But see, I came from a homeless site, so all of a sudden I was a homeless person. So even though I had Sarah Plus, which is actually an insurance program, you not for the indigent, it's actually paid for. Me and my wife paid it for many years, and I've usually gotten great service from Sutter. So and normally my primary care, everything's been great. So I was in there and I was walking down to the bathroom. They said, "Hey, your feet's bleeding. Your foot is bleeding." I said, "Oh no, I have ulcers on the bottom of my feet because being homeless. Unfortunately, when during the summer when I was reaching out to my wife asking for resources to I had no bus pass, I was walking a lot and I got huge ulcers on the bottom of my feet, and I was in the hospital for Sutter for 3 weeks to deal with them. Well, again, I got great care from Sutter then too. Now this time is the first week in January. I'm in the emergency room. They weren't going to send somebody to do wound care for my feet. They're going to have me follow up my primary care. And I said, that's weird. The last time they had me at wound care. So I insisted on wound care. Wound care came out, took care of my foot. Indeed, I had a big ulcer on the bottom of my foot that was bleeding really bad because of the moisture out here at First Steps. So the reality is they got it taken care of. So I was really confused because I said, well, why aren't you fixing my arm? And they said, we don't do that here. I said, well, it was not being done here at the emergency room. Where would it be done? They wouldn't answer my question. They were disregarding me. The quality of care just wasn't there. I felt it wasn't there. So they were going to discharge me, and I called my dad. And it's really hard because I have one arm. I'm in pain, so I'm trying to get dressed and stuff. Nobody's helping me. And all of a sudden, I'm on my phone with my dad, and the security guard says, "Hurry up, back on the streets." And yes, I don't cuss often, but I turned around and said, "What the are you talking about? Okay, who the hell do you think you're talking to? What the hell did you just say to me?" The disregard for me because I was quote unquote homeless was totally off the books. I was given substandard care. I was treated like a second-hand citizen. I felt it, and I knew I felt it. I was pissed. My dad was on the phone. I was asking him to come pick me up. I explained it to him because he's not known me to be mean. I'm a very positive person, so I knew something was wrong that day. Now I went out and I followed up my primary care where I thought, well, that's crazy. Why is my primary care going to fix my arm? Ironically, they're not. So Scott Cannon Elk Grove, amazing doctor with Sutter Healthcare. He's my advocate. He's an incredible gem with Sutter. The next day I went to him. He listened to me. He did everything I needed him to do. He helped me. He said, "I'm sorry you've been going through this last year. Because he knows I've been on his journey. With the false domestic violence allegations toward me. He set me up with orthopedic surgeon. That was last Friday. I went to the orthopedic surgeon. She said, "I'm sorry, the standard of care was they should have done a reduction and a sedation and a seduction last month when you were there. Now I send you back over there." So I'm like, well, that's weird. I questioned it then. So I went over to the emergency room again and I went through the whole process again, new x-rays, and I just got them done at the orthopedic surgeon, new labs. I don't know why, because it was my shoulder, but oh well. Maybe it's insurance. Maybe that's a problem. Anyway, needless to say, the nurse comes out and says, the doctor says it's too late to fix your arm. Now you have to do open surgery. So now, a month ago, the standard of care was to fix my arm, a reduction, and put it back into place. Now I have to have open surgery. That is some of the problems that go on when treating the homeless. So that's the latest issue. Me being homeless, how I got substandard care. That's malpractice. That is wrong.